Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Tom, I am one of the 1% of Americans who doesn't know who Kelly Clarkson is, but you can attest she's a really big deal, right?
I can breathe for the first time. Solid in love, yeah, yeah. All right.
This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, we're getting there, aren't we? Like, little by little, we're picking off the good, not great chefs or contestants, and we're starting to boil down. Are we not?
We are, Kevin. I was thinking the same thing, is that there's no real surprises here. Like, I think in terms of how we drafted the juggernauts going into this competition, Top Chef 17 All-Stars, we had a pretty good idea based on past performance on Top Chef who is going to, float to the top. And the cream really is rising to the top here. And I really feel like, not to say that these chefs aren't any good. Of course, they're here in the first place. They're one of the best chefs in the world. So with that said, I do think that we are getting the best competitors of this season, winnowing out the other ones. And here we are, 4 episodes in the books. And I really do feel like these are the strongest chefs we have this season.
Yeah, and I do want to say one exception to that is that I don't think either of us had a sense of just how much Melissa has grown as a chef relative to any other of the chefs relative to their first seasons. She is a force. There is confidence. She has an aesthetic, Tom. I noticed it with the lobster wonton last week, the coconut corn soup this week. You look at a Melissa dish, and it has a distinct quality, a distinct style. Those pretty little oil drops along this lovely surface. It's rich yet minimal. All these wonderful things. I think both of us respected her as a middle of the pack contestant, and she has emerged right now as elite and as confident and as dominant as any chef in the competition. We're going to get more. We're going to talk more about this, but just first impressions. This is your team here.
Yeah, Melissa. Whew, man, she's coming in and just mowing people down. And she's greatly improved from Top Chef Boston. I think it was season 12. She did go to Mexico with the final four. Gregory was there. Doug was there. It was a juggernaut season. So she really has shown in this competition this year at Top Chef All Stars, just bring every single dish. And she's got 2 in a row. And man, I really feel good about her being on my team. A mid round pick for me, and probably the most value we're getting so far.
Yeah, the other big story for me this week is we finally got the first inkling of interpersonal conflict. Little bitchiness, little backbiting. I think Malarkey's fuckery came to the surface for the first time. But you always wait for a little conflict, a little static. Got the first hints of static.
Yeah, some of the cliques, some of the soap opera, high school drama from the beginning. You saw at the top of the episode, and then throughout this episode, there was some interpersonal drama, like you said. And the funny thing is, it wasn't Leanne or Brian Malarkey who goes down. It's Lisa. Has to go down as one of the worst pickups in Top Chef Pack Your Knives history, Kevin.
Yeah, we will definitely talk more about that. I don't know. I need to get the spreadsheet up, Tom, but I don't know how I'm doing. I'm sort of blocking it out. I'm just kind of taking it a week at a time, Tom, because I am struggling in the old standings.
You wish you had a finale. You wish you had the 50-pointer now.
I do wish I had a 50-pointer, but no. That would be in violation of the good spirit of the rules. So we start with a quick fire. It is the Kelly Clarkson quick fire. I'm going to give this over to you, and I say this with no contempt or scorn. I'm kind of a Martian, and I have these holes and blind spots in my knowledge of popular culture post like 1995, and this is just one of them. Like, I've never seen an episode of American Idol. My music tastes are a little niche-y. Like, I just don't. A lot of this stuff is lost on me. So take us through the premise. And more importantly, I mean, everybody was just really jazzed to see this person. So explain this one. Put this in cultural context for me.
Like she's some sort of alien from outer space.
No, I think I'm an alien. Because this is like Eric took his mom to the Kelly Clarkson show in Los Angeles when she came to visit from Western Pennsylvania. Like this person is a big deal, and I didn't really recognize her.
Well, maybe because I think she came in as like a country singer kind of from American Idol. She started, and this is kind of the road that a lot of pop stars like Taylor Swift, they come in as a country artist and then they boom, super pop star. And since you've been gone, as Karen said, was a huge hit. I did not know that it was a lesbian anthem, according to Karen. But you know what? Maybe that's why it doesn't hit certain areas of pop culture. Is for her, it was the song, and she said it in the episode that she's gone to so many of her concerts, and that was really endearing. But there's a bunch of hits. There's Since You've Been Gone. There's Because of You. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Da, 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 da. And then there's of course, My Life Would Suck Without You, which is just, right there in the – I mean, there's no hiding what that song is about. She is a huge pop star. And also, again, shout out to the ALS Pepper Challenge. She did the Pepper Challenge, ate a habanero to raise money for ALS. So she is number one in my book, always, as well as Karen. I like this quickfire. Simply because it produced some really beautiful plates, and Kelly Clarkson is kind of a big deal.
Right. So to kind of review the general premise of the quickfire is she's got this new movie out or coming out called Trolls. I was informed that unfortunately, though he won the quickfire and is supposed to take Nene, the red carpet premiere was canceled because of the coronavirus. I was told by a certain someone in my house who covers the film industry for a major national outlet.
Wait, is that breaking news?
I don't think it's breaking news. I think pretty much every red carpet premiere that was supposed to occur this spring has been canceled. But apparently it's a very color-oriented animation thing. So there's these bright rainbowy colors, and the chefs had to take an ingredient from each of the color groups, which, by the way, is a pretty generally basic, non-confining challenge, except for one thing. There is no real blue food in the world. So I think to me it was interesting to watch how everybody was going to incorporate the blue ingredient, which could have included Peruvian purple potatoes, or like rock candy that was blue, or cotton candy that was blue. I think there were some blueberries. And so it was very interesting to see sort of the way for this challenge was how do you incorporate the blue stuff.
Yeah.
And just also tactically, just watching everybody, you get a real glimpse of how people think by how they approach a quickfire challenge. Like, do they make it simple for themselves, or do they make it particularly hard for themselves?
Yeah, I thought the blue thing was interesting. Talking game theory here, Kevin, would you go for blue first because the drop off from like a good blue flavor is so great? Like, you get blueberries, and then what? Like, you get the blue potatoes. I didn't think I saw any blue corn.
Did anyone do blue cheese? Did anyone end up using blue cheese?
I don't know, but I feel like that's the first place I go, is hit the blue rack, because there's such a big drop off, and you just don't know what you don't want to end up with cotton candy. I thought it was interesting. Brian Malarkey was like, "Yeah, I'm just eating cotton candy here." So I thought that this was a really good quickfire because it produced the beautiful plates. But I do think that the blue, any food that you think is blue is actually mostly purple.
Right. Like, I mean, that's the Peruvian purple. Literally, they're called Peruvian purple potatoes. But if you put a little white vinegar in the pot when you boil those purple potatoes, they kind of remain bluish. It's a little trick someone taught me. But those, I mean, it seemed like, actually, Karen was the one person who used blue cheese, which makes all the sense. And she finished on the top or near the top in the quickfire challenge. She ended up doing a beef and pomegranate tartare. And hey, you just need a little blue cheese. She goes for saffron for the yellow, which is kind of brilliant. Like Karen had very good hacks on this challenge, and I don't think it's a coincidence that she finished in the top 3.
Yeah, for sure. And which is cool, because she really, sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes. Either the heroes are dicks, or they're just not what you made up to be in your head. And so Karen didn't get overwhelmed by this competition, this challenge, because of Kelly Clarkson, and she produced a great dish.
Yeah, it seemed like the way to kind of do blue was a lot of people use the cotton candy or the blue sugar to create a sweet, spicy, sour sauce, right? So you have, you have like Melissa, who had the sweet and sour sauce with the salmon. I think she used blueberries. You had Lisa, who finished in the top 3 for the quickfire, who got the blue cotton candy in there, but combined it with chile, so you get like a little sweet, spicy for your citrus brown butter ribeye. Gregory, who ends up winning the quickfire. Tom Gregory is back and just did a classic Gregory dish, right? So he does this butternut squash plantain soup, pickles some fruit, and of course adds a little spice with the chilies. It's a classic Gregory sweet, sour, spicy balance. Like, this is what this man does. He's just going to nail his protein, or in this case, his soup, and then you get those 3 flavor profiles, or just qualities rather, and you combine them with perfect balance. That's Gregory. And by the way, and you're never going to finish on the bottom, like ever.
Gregory comes in with his first quickfire win. Of course, in seasons past, he's been a juggernaut on the quickfires. In season 12, Boston, we talked about it with Melissa. But he had 5 quickfire wins, which is the most quickfires of any competitor in this competition. 5 out of, I think, like 15 or 14 chances. I mean, that's 1 out of 3 challenges he's going to win the quickfire. So he wins another one here. He is, as he said on the episode, the quickfire king.
Yeah, and he's kind of the Greg Maddux of Top Chef, in the sense that, and I go back to this, I don't think he ever puts a plate together that, as you would say, is too tweezery, or is just so high concept as to, wow, it's just, I'm going to do a piece of fish, or I'm going to do carrots, or I'm going to pick a very recognizable, just versatile main, and I'm going to just get the flavors right and the accompaniments right. There's never going to be too much on the plate. There's never going to be too little. I'm going to throw 88-mile-per-hour fastballs that are perfectly located, and I'm never going to make a bad decision. I think that's the thing with Gregory. He never makes a bad decision. Other chefs, you can make a bad decision that turns out okay, or you kind of hide the weakness on the dish. Gregory never makes a bad decision.
No. He's so good. And Kevin, how about the little detail? Did you know he was an ultra runner, like an ultra marathoner?
So where we go from here is there were some noble losing efforts in the quickfire. Nene, she has a really interesting instinct, right? Which is, what is gnocchi? Gnocchi is generally a little potato dumpling. I'm going to use the purple Peruvian potatoes. Problem is I think they're a little too starchy, just having worked with them. And so it's a clunker. I don't think it really matters. Her shrimp was a little lonely on that plate. Coconut curry broth. It may or may not have been complimentary of the pasta. It was less unified, I think, than a usual Nene dish. Brian, I kind of feel badly for Brian. And I don't – this is going to sound like a criticism of Kelly Clarkson, and it's not. But I just got the sense that, it was mushy. Well, it's a ceviche, right? Like it's not going to taste like your cooked shrimp at a cooked shrimp restaurant. Like this is not Bubba Gump here. Right, like, and I'm not saying she was wrong.
Yeah,
I just I
hear what you're saying.
She didn't get the ceviche, right? Like, she doesn't get the dish.
But in my experience with ceviche, with shrimp in the ceviche, they're not like gooey. They're not like that. A lot of them.
Well, she said it was mushy, right?
Mushy, right? If the acidity usually cooks the shrimp a little bit, so. I get what she's saying. I also get if Brian wanted to counter and just be like, welcome to raw food. Yeah, I know this is raw seafood here. But you know what? To rewind a little bit to Nene, it's never good when the judge says, is this X? When Padma says, is this gnocchi?
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. So Nene had to say, "Oh, it's seared. Yeah, it's kind of gnocchi." But yeah, I get what you're saying with the ceviche and the shrimp. And I don't know if this was edited out, but I'm sure Voltaggio in the back of his mind was like, you know what? That's the way I wanted it.
Yeah. Am I supposed to worry that Nene's put together a couple quickfire clunkers, or do I not worry?
Yeah. No,
you're worried. You would be worried for me.
I would be worried for you. And I usually think that this is her strength, that she comes up with a vision and she executes. But the last couple times she is not. So I don't think she's going to be on the bottom here. But no, I'm with you. It's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think this is one of the great questions about Top Chef in general is, quick fires obviously do have some reward and some punishment occasionally, right? Generally reward immunity becomes more common as the season goes on. And if you lose, you get the last pick of this or that, or there's some recourse for your performance in the quickfire as it relates to what advantage or disadvantage you get. But I never know how seriously, quickfire can often just be a place to throw stuff against a wall. Yes, every elimination challenge has its general rules or limitations, but quickfires are particularly, you're generally having to make stuff out of nothing in 20 minutes. So I don't know whether I'm supposed to be concerned, because I am still obviously very bullish on Nene. She's done nothing but good work in the elimination challenges. She's just had a couple of whimsical dishes that have not landed in recent quick.
Well, she is well liked. We do know that. She hands over the can opener to Gregory and gets the assist to Gregory. I think she's probably like she'd win the best teammate award if there was
the sportsmanship award.
The sportsmanship award in the NBA. Yeah, the Mike Conley award. Because I kind of feel like everyone loves Nene. And, she hands the can opener, which some more ruthless competitors might just be like, no, go get your own. And Nene hands over the can opener and assists Gregory with his winning dish.
Yeah, what was very interesting, so we're going to talk about Lisa for a second, because she had a very strong quickfire dish. She did a citrus brown butter ribeye, which just sounds fantastic, by the way. And then, to get the blue food in there, she combines the cotton candy with the chile as a little sprinkle topping, and it was a crowd pleaser. And sort of also, I don't think it was a harbinger of any kind, but it was very Lisa food. I think what we're learning about Lisa is the food is heavy. The food is what she calls rustic. Mm-hmm. And I say this with no criticism. She has a distinct style. She is probably the least technical chef in the competition. And that's fine. There have been great chefs on this show that is sort of what they do.
She'd probably do a kick-ass gastropub.
Oh, absolutely. I would totally eat a Lisa Fernandez gastropub. Malarkey, on the other hand, is does this curry pumpkin honey ice cream, which amazingly did not place in the bottom 3. Maybe he just, maybe the stuff tasted good. I have no idea. Making ice cream for a quickfire just sounds like a death trap.
Did you mean for it to come out curd-like? Oh, man. Yes, he says. He responds and says, yes. You know what? I think that's the play is when one of the judges just asks, did you mean for it to come out tasting like poop? Yes, of course. Yes, of course I wanted that, chef. Brian knew that he screwed up with the ice cream, and he knew he wasn't going to get the texture that he wanted, but he plays along, and he gets the curd-like curry ice cream to come out, and it... you know what? The liquid nitrogen, thank goodness it was there because it saved him and saved some others in this quickfire. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the chef least in need of immunity wins immunity, and that's Gregory with his butternut squash plantain soup. Karen places, Lisa places, and on the bottom, we got Voltaggio for his supposedly mushy ceviche. We have Nini for her very starchy blue gnocchi, and Stephanie for her rainbow rice roll that was a little too difficult to eat and whose cotton candy peanut sauce was a little too sweet for Padma. So,
seemed like a cannoli.
Yeah, you know what I've noticed, and I think particularly this is true of – actually, I don't think it's particularly true of Padma. I think Tom will comment as well that they don't make shit that's hard to eat for these judges. It seems like it's a common thing. More on kind of the – it's often more in the quickfire because you tend to do more finger food or appetizery food or quick food in a quickfire challenge than you do in an elimination challenge. But I just noticed these judges over 17 seasons, they don't like shit that's tough to eat. That's difficult to eat. I don't know if it's because like they're on television and you get self-conscious, or if it's just kind of an annoyance, like you want to dig into something, and I think most people just don't want something that's too hard to eat. And I just noticed that is a good rule. If your shit is hard to eat, don't make it so.
Yeah, you never want any ambiguity with your food. Now, spring rolls usually are finger foods like almost 100% of the time, but the problem is that in her spring roll, I guess it wasn't tightly wrapped enough, so it kind of fell apart as you picked it up. And of course, when you're dipping something, you never want it to fall apart into the salsa or into the dip. So that's kind of like one of my worst nightmares is when you dip in something into a sauce and it just kind of falls. Like when you're at a sushi restaurant, and this is not at the top end of the sushi restaurants, but when you try to dip in your little your nigiri or whatever it is, your roll that you're getting, and it just kind of falls apart into the soy bucket. That's never a good sign. It's probably my mistake more often than not, but that's kind of what I think Padma's going for here is, especially when you're dipping something, make sure it's tight. And in this case, it was almost, good thing this was a quickfire, not a elimination challenge for Steph.
You know what I'm ready for, Tom? And because it's Los Angeles, I'm hoping that we will see. I'd like some Japanese challenges. Wouldn't it be great just a quickfire to be hand roll? Like hand roll. The hand roll quickfire would be a great quickfire challenge because you can get really creative with that stuff. You can go classical. I love an ankimo, little monkfish liver with that plummy sauce. That plummy miso sauce that they put in a lot of places. I would just love to see a little Japanese. I guess it's such a specialized skill. Is it fair to expect Top Chef contestants to become Japanese chefs for 20
I'm sure
minutes?
We'll get it soon, right?
Yeah, just like Los Angeles would be a particularly good place to do it. But I'm ready for that. Anyway, Tom, the elimination.
Yes.
The teams get picked at random, and I'm sure anybody who's been paying attention saw what I believe, I forget which, maybe it was Brian who off or on camera kind of said that the blue team was stacked, Tom. I mean, this looked like a mismatch from the beginning.
Man, this was Gregory, Eric, Melissa, Jen, Karen, and Kevin. All the winners, I believe, on one team, right? Like so far, Melissa has won, Kevin has won, and Gregory
ran week 1.
Yeah, so this is a stacked team. And you know what? I thought of you again. I thought this was very much a Kevin challenge here. Arnavid's challenge is go to the farmer's market and just pick amazing produce and do a great meal.
Yeah, I mean, another kind of love letter to Los Angeles because, look, farmers markets are common everywhere, but kind of the culture of the farmers market in Los Angeles, largely because you have so many farmers from the Central Valley and from Santa Barbara County and Ventura County. It's just a very, I don't think people realize about California. It's just really agricultural. You think of it as a big city state, and it certainly is. And so these farmers just come in. They drive 2.5 hours, and around Los Angeles, I mean, you have got. I mean, the Santa Monica Farmers Market is incredible. That I think is Wednesdays. Is it Wednesdays and Sundays or Wednesdays and Saturdays? Hollywood is every bit as good, and that's on Sundays. You can go to Pasadena on Saturday mornings, the Sierra Madre and the high school there. South Pasadena has a great Thursday, and so much of your life as a cook in Los Angeles is heading to these farmers markets and getting this just incredible produce stuff you've never seen before. And it's just, it was so much fun to see some of the vendors that I know and love, like Harry's Berries was shown. They do a Gaviota strawberry that is so good. It's like the little green plastic little box or thing is $8. And I think the first time you're ever there, you get sticker shock because like, what the fuck, $8 for like a little basket of strawberries? Come on. And it's like the best $8 you will spend all week. So it was fun to see them. A lot of the other farmers that I recognize were there. And it's also fun because you kind of on the fly, like you can come with your recipe shopping list. But what's really fun is calling an audible when you see something really perfect. And that's clearly what happened. For instance, Kevin with his dates, which was nice to see. And they actually had the perfect judge for this competition. That is Jeremy Fox, who Little Birdie is now, but Rustic Canyon to me is his flagship and just one of my absolute favorite places to eat when I'm in Santa Monica on that side of town. It's so bright, so fresh. He's very vegetable focused. And my friend Noah Galutin actually co-wrote his vegetable cookbook, which is awesome. And so this vegetarian challenge is kind of fun, and it's a nice limitation.
Yeah.
You basically have to find substitutes for protein or just substantial enough dishes over the course of a progressive 6-course meal to make it work.
This is kind of like a half Restaurant Wars to me. Is you have these teams and you have to create a menu, a progressive menu, and there is a little bit of a limitation here in that it has to be a vegetarian dish, but it kind of just short of having a color scheme and a name for the restaurant, and having assignments, front of house and it felt like to me that this was as much a Restaurant Wars as you're going to get before Restaurant Wars actually happens. And so it was kind of fun to see them have to function inside of this. We have to create a menu here, a progressive menu. And it's very clear that not just the blue team was stacked, but they seem to conceptualize the progression of that menu way better than the red team. And by the way, once again, Brian Malarkey takes the lead. And he is the alpha in this group, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
All right, I have a note about this. Brian Malarkey suffers from the Dunning-Kruger effect. Are you familiar with this concept?
No,
Tom?
Please.
It's like people who think they are much better at something than they actually are. In fact, the worse they are, often the better they think they are, hence the Dunning-Kruger effect. And I believe it's vice versa. Like, Brian Malarkey thinks he's really good at being a team leader when he's actually probably the least capable person in the group. It's not just because his personality is off-putting. It's that you can see it from every dish he ever does. He is never thinking about larger context. I mean, if you're going to be the team leader in a 6-course progressive dinner, you got to have to be an expansive thinker. Like for instance, in the context of the Myers-Briggs, in my pop science, pseudoscience favorite personality categorization. Tom, you are an ENTJ. I am an INTJ. He is not an N. You need to be an N to be the team leader. And he is a guy with the narrowest of thinking who charges himself with the responsibility of having the most expansive thinking. And it drives me nuts. And you could see from the outset, this team is probably going to lose not just because they're less talented, but because they have subjected themselves to this yo-yo's sensibility when assembling this menu.
Sounds like you really wanted to trade him.
I know. Actually, it was funny. I was going to call you after the show, and it's like, nah, he's not going to do it now. I meant to look at the trade on Tuesday, and it's not like I'm busy because we're all just kind of hanging out. And I kind of blew it, to be honest.
Yeah, trade offer is off the table. Everybody knows that I made the trade, Jen, for Brian Malarkey in the last episode. I pulled it off the table before Kevin could accept it. So that is off the table. The second trade offer, you know what? Third time's a charm, Kevin. I should just offer you something and you're going to take it just because the last two deals, the last two trade offers I proposed to you and you have not taken, I think you're having a little bit of not buyer's remorse. So Brian goes with the tomato and burrata mozzarella dish. And you could tell right from the start, Kevin, that he was trying to sell the ultra simple idea. But man, it did, like Tom Kalika was just all over that one. Like, really? You're doing tomato and mozz?
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS. Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
Tom, it's the classic overcorrection. He futzes around with too much shit the entire season so far, so now he's gotten the message. He's going to go simple. No, you overcorrected.
Yep.
By the way, it looked like a very pretty dish. I mean, I love burrata and tomatoes. You love burrata and tomatoes. Who doesn't love burrata and tomatoes? But when you put it up against Kevin's start, which was an heirloom tomato and melon salad with this gorgeous avocado puree, that lovely kind of sage green that just provides the beautiful canvas for all these other little just colorful jewels, right? And then he throws in the dates and the togarashi. Like, that is the perfect, I mean, tomato and melon salad with avocado puree, dates, and togarashi. I mean, Tom, does it get better than that?
It doesn't. And the 2 things stood out for that dish is that he went to the market and he was like, I'm getting the best thing here at the market and incorporating in my dish, which is the dates, the fresh dates, right? And what he did was almost what you want is he did a twist almost on tomato and burrata. And did it in his own way. And so standing next to Brian's dish, Malarkey's dish, it was very clear which one had more thought put into it. And if you're going to do a quote-unquote simple dish, make sure you nail the flavors. The vinaigrette that he put on that tomato dish, Brian Malarkey, didn't work. And so if you're going to go simple, make sure you nail all the ingredients. It didn't seem like he did.
Right. Like things he could have done to that plate. As Jeremy Fox said, you could have had a charred element, right? You also could have done a great crunch. Because, tomato and burrata, it's a wonderful dish. It does tend to be monotextual. I mean, the tomatoes and cheese are a little different, obviously, but there's never kind of a bite. There's never a crunch. Like, you could have done that. You could have done, the savory equivalent of Eric's chocolate soil, right? I mean, you could have done something black garlic crunch or whatever it is you wanted to do, or a basil something. And again, a classic overcorrection, because here's a guy who has done too much and now he's doing too little. And it was patently obvious when you put the 2 dishes next to each other. Dish number 2, likewise, right? Melissa comes out with a coconut corn soup, Tom, pickled garlic chives, and puffed grains. You talk about texture, you talk about flavors. As Tom Colicchio said, not too sweet, which is always a hazard when you do a coconut-based dish. Wow, that was something. And again, it just looked gorgeous.
It didn't. I wanted to reach through my TV screen and just get that bowl and devour it.
She is talented, and especially when you put it up against Leanne's butternut squash hummus with crudité and feta. All right, so this is the source, and when we talk about Malarkey and Leanne, this was the source of the conflict, really the first real chef conflict of the season, was number 1, her dishes' rawness and simplicity underscored a big issue that the judges had from the outset, which is this is a progressive dinner. This is not, throw 6 vegetarian dishes out there without attention to the contour of the meal. This is, and so they had these 2 raw vegetable dishes, which pissed off Colicchio from the start. And then on top of that, hers was under-seasoned or under-salted. And you want to tell us about the conflict, Tom?
Brian Malarkey comes in and tries to, I don't know if it's sabotage, but he comes in and tries to season the plates for her. I guess she didn't have enough time. She needed some help. And so they pitched in, and Brian was in charge of seasoning the tops of that dish. Now, a couple things happen here. One is, like you said, the first problem is that they didn't have any sort of progression. They were too similar. You don't want to do that. But secondly, I think Brian realized that as the pseudo leader of this team, the de facto leader of this team, that's on him. The fact that they didn't conceptualize those 2 dishes better, that falls on the leader. And so I think what he had to do, which is what he did at the judges' table. Do you want to get into it now, Kevin, or do you want to get into it later? What he says.
No, I want to get into it now. And
yes.
I take what you're saying in terms of the raw component, in terms of were these well-selected dishes for the progressive dinner. I grant you that with Malarkey. But I'm sorry. I just want to say this right now. There was a wonderful shot in the show of Melissa just whistling while she worked. She had this beautiful dish that had about 14 different components. Presentation was key. It was intricate. And there she is by herself, time to spare, doing it. Leanne is like Pigpen, okay? Throughout the entire season, there's just always a degree of mess and chaos around her.
Yeah.
So this is what I want to know, Tom. Why don't you have time to finish plating? She says this, like, I didn't have time. I was trying to get everything on the plate. You have a cold plate with crudité. Why are you scrapping at the last minute to get it on the plate? Melissa's over there with an artful presentation, 12 components, as I said. You can't get hummus and veggies on a goddamn plate by yourself. You need Big Brother to come over and help you. What the fuck have you been doing for the last 2 hours? Like, she's got a hot dish. She's got soup. She's got these oils and essences and charred chives. And, like, she's by herself. What are you doing that you can't plate some goddamn hummus and carrots by yourself?
It was a great juxtaposition. It was, and the judges said it, and I thought that was a great element of this episode, Kevin, is that, while Leanne is like scrambling and everyone's trying to like fall over each other to help get that dish out, and it was a crudité hummus, right? There's Melissa just not even sweating, just right there, and just like, here's the best dish, everyone. And I think it goes back. Melissa is drawing upon past experiences a lot. You're seeing this theme is that Melissa, like Nene, is kind of conceptualizing things that she knows she can do, a grandmother's recipe, a family recipe, something that draws something out of her deep beneath her skin, where it's just, it feels like she has already thought about this dish hours before she gets the challenge, and she executes, and she's barely sweating. She goes out there, and the judges, maybe Leanne has a little bit of stage fright. I don't know what happened, but it seems like the fact that the judges were watching them, and that this was kind of cool to me, is that they were kind of like eavesdropping on the judges as they're eating, and there's kind of this little gamesmanship. It's like, oh, did they like my dish, or did they like my competitor's dish? I don't know. Melissa doesn't give a shit. She's just there to execute, works on the dish, and then wins the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe Malarkey's a fuckstick, maybe he's not. Maybe he screwed up the oil and the salt, maybe he's not. You know what? Don't be in a position where you've got to count on the doofus next to you to season your dish at the end. I mean, like just get it done. I mean, if you don't want to be subject to somebody else's fuckery, do it yourself. And the bottom line is of the 12 dishes in the competition, in terms of getting it on the plate, she had by far the least degree of difficulty. Maybe Malarkey was a close second, or maybe one or two. But the bottom line is it shouldn't require assistance to get hummus and crudité and feta on a plate, Tom. Moving on. Dish number 3, really interesting contrast that I think also, in addition to the first two, really kind of underscored the chasm between these two teams. On the blue team, we have Karen, with this gorgeous, what I'm calling semolina pasta garden with a mint pistachio pesto, which, by the way, Tom, I make a mint pistachio pesto from the Jelena cookbook that I love as an accompaniment on various things. So, it's wonderful. And Jelena's cookbook is great. I mean, it's honestly my top cookbook. And fava greens, pea shoots, blanched asparagus, this gorgeous green late summer pasta, as Gail Simmons said. The pasta was just present enough, right? Like it was in the background, really letting the brightness shine of the greens. And then you had Lisa. Chili soy Brussels sprouts with apple pistachios served at a dubious temperature. Tom, we both, put a similar bid on Lisa. You ended up acquiring her last week. Must be a disappointment, I imagine.
This hurt big time. Kevin, we get on Brian Malarkey for doing a dish that we've seen 1,000 times, right? And that's what Gail said about the dish, right? It was a beautiful dish that we've seen 1,000 times, tomato and burrata. Kevin, couldn't you say the same thing about Lisa's dish? The Brussels sprouts kind of fried with some sort of chili soy. Like, I feel like I've had a citrusy soy Brussels sprouts, greasy Brussels sprouts, 1 billion times in my life. And I kind of felt like this was a side item way more than any other dish on this episode. And when Padma says, what temperature did you want for this? I just wanted to crawl into a hole because I knew that as soon as Padma said that, it was over for Lisa. Not only was it not an overly inventive dish, it seemed like a side. It wasn't composed as a dish. It was something that you would see for $8 on the bottom of a menu. It wasn't a starter. So Lisa comes in with the Brussels sprouts, and it you know what, Kevin? I thought after the quickfire top 3 finish, I might have something of a late bloomer here with Lisa, and it turns out that she just did a stinker of a plate, a Brussels sprouts dish that I feel like I've eaten or ordered or seen on a menu 1,000 times before.
Yeah. So, I mean, here my first question about this dish is, it's late summer in Los Angeles. Why are you serving something that looks like it belongs with a winter short rib braise?
Right.
And I mean, like, look, I'm going to be honest. I love, like, a good Brussels sprouts, glazed balsamic, some pancetta or shallots in there, or I love that kind of apple and I do a Brussels sprouts with apple and Maui onions. You know what? I do it in the freaking fall, right? Like, even Malarkey, even Leanne, there were 11 dishes that really captured the brightness of late summer. This felt like a heavy dish. Now, what Lisa will say is, that's the way I like to cook. Okay, fine. But this is a farmer's market challenge. Why are you deep frying anything? I mean, maybe if you have a little tempura component on a more interesting plate, why are you this is a farmer's market challenge. If there's 1 week where you're not going to deep fry anything, it's going to be the farmer's market challenge. But there's an understanding on Top Chef that over the course of the season, every chef is going to have some away games, right? I'm a rustic chef. That's how I like to cook. That's great. I love rustic cooking. You love rustic cooking. And there's always going to be some away games. There's always going to be this is a dessert challenge and I'm not a pastry chef. There's always going to be this challenge requires that I work with ingredients I never work with. So I think as a chef, you have to ask yourself, how do I hide my weaknesses? How do I temper the inclinations I have that might not conform to the challenge? Okay, so I'm Lisa. I'm a rustic chef. Like, I get it. But you just have to make it work. You can't just lay down with, hey, that's how I like to cook. Tough shit, judges. Okay.
Well,
you can tough shit it all the way back to Last Chance Kitchen.
It was dried out, and they didn't like the temperature. And so even if she did execute the flavor profile, she didn't cook it right. So if you're gonna fry something, make sure you fry it correctly. And it didn't seem like she did that.
Don't even fry it. I mean that's the thing. I mean, I think it's sort of like he doesn't. They don't get the game. There are challenges. Like, I think one of the most underrated qualities and I think you're seeing how strong Melissa is in this right now. One of the most underrated qualities is before you even pick up the first ingredient or do the first cut is, what is the challenge? What do they want? sometimes they're explicit and sometimes the judges are implicit. But 40% of Top Chef is, what is the challenge and what do they really want? Not sort of, so there's, make a vegetarian menu. That's the ostensible challenge. But the real challenge is, there is a milieu, that's a farmer's market, there is a season. Look what everybody else is doing. It doesn't mean you have to conform, but why are you deep frying essentially a root vegetable in a late summer farmer's market challenge? You're just leaving money on the table. I mean, that's the problem. That's why she lost. Anyway, the fourth course was interesting. We had Stephanie on the red team, cauliflower a la plancha with a piri-piri sauce and quinoa. Really pretty dish. And Tom, Gail Simmons called it one of her favorite dishes of the night.
Yes, and I thought going against Gregory, who I think might be the favorite here, along with Melissa, Steph could have been overshadowed here, and I thought she held her own on this one. And I think being in the bottom probably doesn't do her justice. I thought it was a really nice dish, but going against Gregory, it's really difficult.
Yeah, I was a little heartbroken. I saw your box score, and it's like, damn, she might have had one of the three best dishes of the night, and she kind of got sandbagged by her shitty team. Gregory, of course, does Gregory. Grilled and raw, carrots, charred scallions, coconut yogurt, charred kale oil. Oh, so Tom, and I also, it's not only so for you, this is for the chefs who listen. I want to figure out how to do all these cool oils that people do. Like that bright green emerald dots that you see in Melissa's dishes or Gregory's dishes. Like, how do you do kale oil? How do you get that extraction so you get that deep color or those black oils? So if there is a chef out there who knows how to do this, this upcoming winter, I want this to be my new trick. Is I want to learn how to do those little dots. I want to get little the
little oil sprinkles. Yeah.
What does the thing go? The little dripper, the eye drop thing.
Picture.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
I just want to do this next year, and I want to learn how to cook all these cool, colorful oils. Gregory, of course, the perfect balance: the coconut yogurt with the sweet. You get the charred scallions. You get some bite there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just classic Gregory. Jen, by the way, going on to 5, Tom. She looked like early on they were kind of tipping the hat that she might be on the chopping block, because she has her coriander brown butter got completely torched. And it needed to be on the bottom of her dish. And especially if you're doing charred cauliflower, Tom, it can be dry. You gotta have some wet on that plate, because and she was panicked.
Kevin, who do you think did it?
Do we think anyone did it? She also seems like the kind of person who, it's like, who stole my keys? Oh, they're in my hand kind of person.
Could be, but I do think that Eric might have been the assailant here.
Are you accusing
I might
Eric
be
of surreptitiously sabotaging another contestant? Eric,
I turned it off.
Even suggest such a thing,
Kevin? He says no. I turned it off. Which, if you're looking at a dial, couldn't that be an easy mistake? Is sending it the wrong direction, and so you're actually putting on full blast rather than turning it off. It's the equivalent of turning off a hose, but instead of turning it off, it's actually you're turning it in full blast.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Right. I think it was a lefty loosey, righty tighty issue for Eric. And you know what? We didn't get the full spectrum, and we should ask Eric this question: is what really happened there? Was there a clue game going on? Was there more that we didn't see? Because the editing team, what an episode by the editing team for Top Chef and Bravo. Because this was for sure. I thought that she was screwed. I thought Jen was done.
I would love to see a forensics report, Tom. Because obviously somebody knows, and I'm sure there's a camera on.
There's a camera. There's cameras everywhere on this show. We know who did it. We just didn't find out on this episode.
So Tom, though, she recovered. Everyone really liked her cauliflower, the cashew sauces, the broccoli flowers, and grapes. She's having a good season. She was up against a very tough competitor in Brian, who did smoked beets with sprouted legumes and grains. A demi-glace. Another question I have for chefs. I would love to know how to do a veggie demi-glace, because that's to me always been like beef broth, and how do you do that? Because how do you get the broth you want from vegetables? But both were very nice, meaty, substantial dishes.
Kevin, I have a question for you on this.
Yeah.
If you're Jen and you're presenting your dish, to the judges. Do you mention the snafu?
Mm-mm.
No, you don't.
Mm-mm.
So you don't mention, hey, I originally had this conception. Wow. See, I might have said, look, there was an issue in the back and I decided to audible here. And I think you might get even brownie points for putting together an amazing dish in such a bind.
I don't think they give a shit whether you remember or not. I would never do it. So, Tom,
all right.
Dessert looked great.
Yeah,
Dessert
and it should, because if you're
great.
doing a non-meat dish, if it's a vegetarian challenge, the dessert should be the easiest dish to pull off, right?
I mean, yes and no. I think what we've learned from watching this for 17 years is, and we know this from just going out, like I think pastry chef is a different animal. Like there are a lot of amazing chefs who, when it comes to dessert, and you always see the panic, and often it's some of the most prestigious chefs on each season who are like, oh shit. There's always an oh shit moment, like I've got to do a dessert, and not everybody is equipped with that tool. So on one hand, I think, yeah. On the other hand, it's clear anytime dessert comes up, nobody really wants to do it, except there's always one or two chefs who are like, I got my start in pastry, right?
Yeah.
Like, now fortunately, Eric and Nene just had, first of all, Nene's peaches and cream, I'm calling it a whoopie pie. I know they called it a cream puff, but that looked fantastic with peach sorbet, and I'm a peach guy. And Eric's butternut squash goat milk pudding with a chocolate hazelnut crunch. Goodness gracious.
Wow. Both. I think that was the strongest round, right? Like the dessert round was flawless.
Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you I guess so. Cause like I love Melissa's, but yeah, that was.
Yeah. Cause there's kind of like especially with Melissa's and Karen, where Karen like obviously got the dish, and then Lisa, it was kind of lopsided, right? I think this was the strongest round. Both of them just nailed this. And you know what? Like I said, if in a vegetarian menu, the dessert should have the least constraint, because how many desserts are having a meat product in there? It's not. So I think in this instance, they really came through, and the bar might be higher for desserts, but they absolutely accomplished it. Nailed it.
All right, so chopping block. I mean, Melissa wins. We talked about just how incredibly she is on, and she is dominant right now. She is in a zone, and again, it's just so nice to see. And I'm kind of embarrassed that I had a chance to pick her at 6. I mean, can you imagine?
You know what? One thing Gail said while she was up there, Melissa, talking about Melissa's dish, discovery was a big part of that meal. I loved that comment. That is such a cool thing when you're eating something and you just find new things, like it's a scavenger hunt, and you're like, wow, that was a really interesting, each bite, you seem like you're on a journey. And it seemed like that was essential to Melissa's dish, that you're just surprised at every bite and every flavor and every texture. And Melissa just, boom, she is, I don't know if she is the favorite. Like if you're redrafting, is Melissa your number one pick? I don't know, but, man, just nails 2 dishes, 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah, there is mystery and there's beauty in her cooking right now. I think it was understood that it was probably – actually, I don't know. I mean, it was sort of an interesting chopping block because Lisa – and we've talked about each of their transgressions. I wasn't sure if poor execution, in this case Lisa, would trump poor ambition, which was malarkey. Of course, the grand irony is he's always trying crazy shit, and sometimes it works. I mean, he's had some nice dishes, but and sure enough, they gave it to Lisa. Just at the end of the day, look, malarkey's food tasted good. Leanne's food probably tasted good by all accounts. I mean, frankly, butternut squash hummus sounds delicious. I mean, I don't think it's like a world-beating dish, but I mean, but at the end of the day, the only dish that didn't taste good out of the 12 was Lisa, and so she goes home to Last Chance Kitchen, which is interesting.
Yeah, Last Chance Kitchen was great. I think just to rewind a little bit, I was curious to see what you thought about Brian Malarkey saying, yeah, but did you guys say that the butternut, like the fact that Brian was trying to dump on Leanne's dish was an interesting strategy there that probably I thought was going to send him home, but Lisa's dish actually was the one. I was surprised that those two, Leanne and Brian, stayed and Lisa went home. I think either of them could have gone home, but of course Lisa does go home, and she goes to Joe Sasto's, the competition, in Last Chance Kitchen. And just to recap real quick, if Angelo and Jamie Lynch aren't hammered drunk during these things, I'd be surprised, because I love the banter from the peanut gallery here. Kevin, what was the challenge?
Challenge was use a fryer, because that is what doomed Lisa. And I love the fact that there's always a symmetry to Last Chance Kitchen. It's you have to go and atone for your sins.
Yes.
And which is just a cool premise. I love Last Chance Kitchen. I have come to absolutely some of my favorite 10-minute, 12-minute viewing of the week. And Lisa does pork chops, and she's going to do an applesauce and a potato gnocchi fritter, and she nails it. Joe Sasto, kind of from the Italian cooking tradition, is going to do one of those fried cheese, and initially he's going to do it with a creamy sweet potato puree, which I don't really get, because I think with fried cheese you want some sort of tanginess to offset, or even a little acid. So he intelligently ditches that and goes for a tomato and corn jam. But ultimately, Tom, Lisa wins.
Yes, she does.
You know why she won? Why did she win?
Well, because she's a gastropub chef, because this is her thing. This is her jam.
Yeah. I also think Tom it kind of goes back to the malarkey sin in the main competition, which is Tom wants you to do more. Tom wants you to do more. Like I think he's a guy as a judge, even more so than Padma or Gail. It's like, you have an honor to be on this show. Why are you cooking me like tomato and burrata? Why are you got the deep fryer and you're doing some fried cheese, and that's the only fried component, and then you're doing tomato. Like use the fryer, do more. He's just a guy who wants, it doomed Angelo the previous week. Chances are, in a head-to-head competition, if both dishes taste good, Calicia will always reward the contestant that does more.
And that's what she did. She with the pork chop, I didn't know if that idea, I was actually kind of nervous when she mentioned it. I was like, ooh, I'm definitely not going to get a +1 on this one. She gets the +1, so she redeems herself a little bit. I spent $6 or 6 points drafting her, so that cost me 6 points right off the bat. Then she gets 1 point for finishing in the top 3 of the quick fire, then drops 5 points for being eliminated, and then she gets a +1 for leaving or for continuing in the Last Chance Kitchen. So in the end, she gets -5. I had it -4 in the books. I probably overdid that there, double counted here. But Kevin, let's go real quick here. Scoring. This was a difficult scoring for me this week, because there were 2 teams. The bottom team, obviously there was a bottom 3. So what I did here, Kevin, and I changed it this morning after some thought. So I actually put Stephanie and Nene in the middle, quote unquote, getting 2 points each for surviving in the middle. I did not dock them for being in the bottom 2 or in the bottom team, because I normally go by
Voltaggio too, right?
Yes. So I normally go by the book and say, if you're in the bottom team, you're getting in the bottom 3 points. However, in this particular episode, there was such a clear bottom 3 in the judges' comments. And when they were discussing the Knicks, when they're discussing the things that went wrong for the dishes, they never once mentioned Brian Voltaggio or Nene or Stephanie. If they said anything that was negative about them, I would have been like, okay, we can't really suss out who's in the bottom 3. But in this particular episode, I went a little bit off book, and I said, you know what? The bottom 3 was clearly Leanne, Brian Malarkey, and Lisa.
Yeah, and those 3 chefs, I mean, Voltaggio, Nene, and Stephanie cooked really complimentary dishes. I mean, all the judges love their 3 dishes. I mean, frankly, I think every bit as much as the winning 6. So I appreciate your attention to that. I totally support that move. In fact, I was sort of thinking like, there are 3 chefs who are getting jobbed here just by virtue of the fact that they were on Nitwood Brian's team. But
they get points. They get points. And people who have really good dishes that get in the middle every week, like, they get jobbed too. So sometimes you just happen to be going against the 2017 Warriors.
Tom, any closing thoughts?
There's another segment here, Kevin, that I want to put you towards, or the people at home. There's a segment on Bravo.com that's kind of like a supplement like Last Chance Kitchen, but what would Tom do? And it's the conceit is Tom Colicchio. What would he do in the Elimination Challenge dishes? And I encourage people to watch this at home because it's pretty cool. This week, what would he do with a vegetarian dish? He does a chanterelle pasta with a sweet potato puree, and it's a beautiful dish. And you get to see Tom in action in the kitchen executing a dish. So if people aren't listening or watching that, they should. The score right now of our Top Chef Pack Your Knives fantasy squads, 79 for Team Tom, 50 for Team Kevin. I had 25 points this week. You had 14. So the gap keeps getting larger, Kevin. You got to have a big week 5.
I need some help. Tom, it's been fun. Tom Haberstroh, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.